Today, we will discuss topics such as the results of the Prayatantra dasha of Ketu within the Mahadasha of Venus, Shukra, as described in Chapter 61, Verse 3 of the Parashara Hora Shastra. Let's quickly map out our explainer for today. We'll start with Ketu within the Venus dasha, move into zodiac sign classifications, break down the exact Navamamsha's sub-period calculations, and finally wrap up with an astrological and mathematical summary.
All right, jumping right into part 1, Ketu within the Venus dasha.
If you look at the tables detailing the Prati and Tar doshas within Venus, you'll see the precise mathematical allocation for Ketu's period. Now, Chapter 61, Verse 3 instructs us on how to actually interpret this highly specific window of time. Think about it. Venus is all about harmony, worldly comforts, and deep attachments, right? But then we have Ketu, the south lunar node. Ketu is the shadow planet. It represents total detachment, sudden, unexpected events, and ultimately spiritual liberation. So when Ketu's sub-sub period activates right in the middle of a Venus major period, you're literally watching two totally contrasting cosmic forces collide.
To really get to the bottom of this, we need to dive into the Sanskrit itself, the Padachad, which is the word-by-word breakdown, and the Shabdarth, the root definitions. The text brilliantly juxtaposes Shukra, meaning radiant and governing worldly pleasures, with Ketu, which signifies a flag, a comet, or this point of intense, isolating spiritual focus. The ancient texts are basically warning us of a massive push and pull effect here. During this specific time, you might be experiencing the material fruits of Venus, but suddenly, Ketu steps in and introduces a sharp detachment or disruption. It's almost like a forced philosophical realization about how temporary all those material comforts really are.
But the real question is, how does this actually play out across the various bhavas or houses in an astrological chart? Well, the Parashara Hora Shastra gets incredibly specific. For instance, the text explicitly points out that if Ketu is sitting as the lord of the second house of wealth and family or the seventh house of partnerships, there's going to be physical distress and mental agony. Why? Because the second and seventh houses are known as Maraka, or death-inflicting houses. So Ketu's presence there during a Venus major period really amplifies sudden physical ailments or intense interpersonal friction. But on the flip side, if Ketu is well placed in the 3rd, 6th, or 11th houses, that detachment actually acts as a shield, bringing you sudden and unexpected victories over your adversaries. Now, ancient Vedic astrology never just gives you a harsh diagnosis without a prescription to fix it. Because the Pratyantar dasha of Ketu within Venus can trigger such intense friction, specific scriptural remedies are absolutely mandated. The text explicitly tells us to perform the Mrityunjaya japa. This is a highly powerful mantra dedicated to Lord Shiva, specifically used to ward off physical distress and untimely death. Beyond that, giving a goat or a tawny-colored cow in charity is prescribed. It's fascinating, right? These physical acts of letting go and donating life-sustaining resources directly appease that detached nature of Ketu, helping to harmonize its volatile energy.
Moving on to Section 2, Zodiac Sign Classifications.
First up, let's talk about the movable or Chara signs. We're looking at Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. These signs are all about dynamic, initiating energy. They signify swift changes, constant motion, and bold outward expression. But then, right on the other side of the spectrum, we have the fixed or sthira signs: Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. These signs possess a profoundly stable, almost unyielding quality. They are the anchors of the zodiac. They represent grounded persistence, a rock-solid foundation, and a really strong resistance to sudden shifts. So what bridges the gap between those two extremes? That would be the dual-natured or Dvisaphabhava signs: Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. The scriptures describe these particular signs as having a highly adaptable mixed temperament quality. They're essentially the transition points between the stubbornness of the fixed signs and the relentless push of the movable signs. They embody total flexibility, deep intellect, and this unique ability to view situations from multiple angles, seamlessly fluctuating between stability and change whenever it's required. Let's dig a little deeper into the three-dimensional physics of all this. The ancient texts actually categorize signs by how they physically rise on the horizon, their specific cosmic motions. For example, the text describes signs like Aries and Taurus as Prishtodaya signs, meaning they literally rise with their backs first. This points to a very earthy, instinctual, and sometimes stubborn physical momentum. On the other hand, we have Sarshodaya signs which rise head first. This indicates an intellectual, soul-driven, forward-thinking nature. So this specific categorization into body and soul actually dictates the cosmic motions of the signs, fundamentally influencing how rapidly or slowly the results of a sign will manifest in a person's life.
This brings us perfectly to our third section, Navamsha subperiod calculations.
This specific table grounds us visually in the actual mathematical formulas used to deduce these cycles of time. We're going to calculate the subperiods within the major dasha of Aries. Now keep in mind, in this specific Kalachakra dasha system context, the major period of Aries lasts for exactly 7 years.
Let's walk step by step through the calculation for the Aries sub-period within the Aries major period, just to make sure we don't get lost in the numbers. Step 1, we identify the total dasha years for Aries, which, as we just said, is exactly 7. Step 2, since we want the sub-period of Aries, we multiply that by the planetary years of Aries, which is also 7. 7 multiplied by 7 gives us a clean product of 49. And finally, step 3, we take that product, 49, and divide it by 100, which represents the total span of the AMSA in years.
When you actually process that division, taking 49 divided by 100, and converting those fractions into months, days, and the ancient Vedic time measurement of Gatikas, you arrive at an incredibly precise astronomical duration. The Aries subperiod within the Aries major period lasts exactly 0 years, 5 months, 26 days, and 24 Gatikas. This isn't just a rough estimate. We are looking at rigorous mathematical law. All right, let's apply this exact same procedure to calculate the very next sequential cycle, the Taurus subperiod within the Aries major period. Step 1, the major dasha years for Aries remains 7. Step 2, the assigned dasha years for Taurus is 16. So we multiply 7 by 16, which gives us a product of 112. And step 3, we simply divide this product, 112, by our constant denominator of 100. Performing that calculation, we finalize the mathematical duration. The result translates precisely to 1 year, 1 month, 13 days, and 12 Gatikas. It is absolutely fascinating to see how every single shift in our cosmic timeline is anchored in this exacting arithmetic. This is exactly how the ancient astrologers were able to map out the unfolding of human events with such stunning clockwork accuracy.
And that brings us to section 4, our astrological and mathematical summary.
So, what are the big takeaways from our explainer today? Well, we saw how chapter 61, verse 3 reveals that the Prayantar dasha of Ketu within Venus is a highly volatile clash of worldly comfort and spiritual detachment. We learned it's especially dangerous when affecting the 2nd and 7th houses, which is why ancient remedies like the Mrityunjaya japa are absolutely crucial. We also explored how the physical reality of the zodiac is beautifully classified into movable, fixed, and dual signs, each possessing unique Prishtodaya or Soshrodaya rising motions. And finally, we just proved that all of these astrological predictions are fundamentally rooted in pure, unadulterated mathematics, calculating exact Navamsha subperiods down to the day and the Gatika using precise fractional divisions. It really is a breathtaking convergence of philosophy, astronomy, and math. On behalf of the Vedmata AI family, we humbly request that if you found our presentation enlightening, please share this video widely so that authentic knowledge from Indian Vedic scriptures can reach the masses. Let us all come together to participate in this Gyan Yagya, sacrificial offering of knowledge. Har Har Mahadev.